Hello out there in the Mad River Valley, and welcome to Theater Time with Doug Bergstein. And, well, I'm Doug Bergstein, and I am here with the playwright and some cast members of a brand new show called Wake Up Gloucester. And our playwright, Jeanne Beckwith, is with us. Jeanne, say hi.
Hello.
That's Jeannie. And our two castmates, Vic and Stephanie, say hello.
Hello.
Thank you all for joining me on this chilly February afternoon. Jeannie, this is your baby. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Wake Up Gloucester is all about?
Well, it's about an early afternoon in 1939 at the Dancing Duck Tavern in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and it kind of follows these characters around the opening of a radio station and the possible sighting of a sea serpent.
Sweet. Who doesn't love a good story about a sea serpent, right?
That's what I always thought.
So, Gloucester, why Gloucester?
Because this is technically based, I don't want to give too much about the plot away,
Sure.
but it's technically on a true story. And off the coast of Gloucester, Massachusetts, in the late 30s, early 40s, there were very multiple sightings of sea serpents and also the possibility of German submarines.
Or maybe they were one and the same? Who
That's what
knows?
we don't know.
That's right. That's right. Vic, let's head on over to you. How did you get to our stage at the Valley Players Theater in Waitsfield, Vermont?
Well, I've been to your theater many times as a theater participant, as a viewer, as an
Yep.
audience member. And I was around a lot during Ten Fest. My daughter did some Ten Fest shows, I guess, 2 years ago, and that's where I met Jeannie. And she's always been very friendly to me, and sometimes inviting me to come around. I think it's more so to get my daughter to come around, but I'm pretending it's because of me. But anyway, I'm on newsletters, and I got the announcement that there was auditions for this, so I decided to go for it.
Great. So,
Yeah,
previous theatrical experience?
very little. It goes all the way back to my college days. I'll let you
Okay.
guess when that was,
So a
but it
couple
was a
years
while
ago.
ago. Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple years ago, and I played Aegeus in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Sweet. All right. Right. Well, Jeannie's a Shakespeare buff herself, right, Jeannie?
Somewhat,
Somewhat. Yeah. Um,
somewhat, you could say.
okay. Well, I did. So there you have it. So, Vic, you're playing a character that is well, he's Austrian, and he's there under uncertain pretenses. I mean, he's stated his pretenses, but the rest of the characters are unsure. Tell us a little bit about what you find intriguing about this character.
Well, I am just a tourist, and I don't understand why folks can't believe that. I guess I'm a bit of an outsider. So it's a small town. It's a great little gang of folks that live and work around this bar. And I'm visiting, and I'm from. They confused me either Austria or Germany, and so first time doing acting in a long time, and now I have to also play with the dialect a little bit. So
Hmm.
that's been fun.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Vic. Stephanie, how about you? How did you find your? So you've been on our stage before, but tell us a little bit about yourself, your previous experience, and why you're here for Wake Up Gloucester.
Yeah. So I did theater for a while in my younger days and then like professionally, and then I took a very long break. And after COVID, I thought to myself, I am tired of being locked up by myself. I need a social life. And so I got back into theater. And I've done a couple of shows, including I've directed some 10 Fest and I was in one 10 Fest. As far as Wake Up Gloucester, I heard about it, I believe, from Jeannie, and I really enjoy her work. And then I read the script and I was like, oh, this is definitely something I'm interested in. So I'm so glad that I've been invited to be a part of this show.
Mm, sweet. We're all excited about that too. So, full disclosure, I am the director of this show, so I'll ask myself a question. Doug, why are you directing a show that no one's ever seen before? Well, Doug, I'm glad you asked that question. It's a really great question, very intriguing, and I hope to give it give your question the full um, credit that it's due. So I enjoy directing new shows because I think no one has any idea of what it's supposed to be about. So when you go to a show that you've seen before, you're like, oh well, they forgot to do that part. That I saw on previous shows. Well, no one can ever say that except maybe Jeannie can say it because she's got some vision in her head. Um, but she's released it to us, so it's ours now. Um, and so I think it's really great to bring something that's never seen the stage and create it with actors such as yourselves and with input from Jeannie. Jeannie's been to several rehearsals and pointed some things out, and it's been a nice back and forth in that regard. So I really enjoy bringing new stuff and hope that there are people out there that are interested enough in just seeing. Um, I don't know if I really want to call this experimental theater because it's not. It's a play. It's a full length play. It'll be an hour and 30 minutes, maybe an hour 45 when it's all said and done. So it's not really experimental. It's just new. So what is it? And the other thing I guess I wanted to point out is that it's a staged reading, and audience members might have different ideas in their head about what that means. Vic or Stephanie, do you want to talk a little bit about what staged reading for us involves?
Sure. So we have our scripts in hand, but we are in full costume, full makeup, full hair, full set design. So
Some
the
of us are
only
in full hair.
what was that?
Some of us are in full hair.
Some of us are in full hair. But it's essentially a fully produced show, but we will have scripts in hand.
Yeah. That's about it. And I guess the main reason for that is it allows for a shortened rehearsal time. And as Jeannie will say, this is it's a work in progress. And so, this is a first glimpse. It's a chance for her to see her work on stage and then, see what kind of rewrites need to be made or changes or whatever. So, Jeannie, could you tell us a little bit about what it's been like to sit in the audience during rehearsals? What's that been like for you? You're on mute, by the way.
Um,
Oh, no, you're
no,
not. It's just
I'm
no,
not muted.
you're fine.
Um,
You're just fine.
I I've been writing plays for a long time, and obviously, um, I didn't start yesterday. And what I have found is that the process of both readings and getting feedback and presenting it in a less um, I don't know, you always learn more. You always find out things. I'm always surprised by how an actor will interpret a line.
Mhm.
I hope I don't give a whole lot of stage directions, and I never tell an actor how to say a line. If you find that in the script, take it away. It's always for me to hear whether the words convey what I want them to.
Mhm.
And I I don't know. It's exciting, and you learn. Oh, maybe that went on a bit longer than it should have.
Mhm.
Uh, I was very happy with this reading. We had a reading last summer that I got COVID and couldn't come to. And then I was delighted when Doug approached me about actually putting the show up. And it's a staged reading at this point is good for me and for the work because a lot of places where you send them don't want them if they've already been have had a full production.
Mm.
but they are happy if it's a staged reading, keeps the script viable and gives me a chance to get feedback from the actors too, because through the years, actors are the best critics.
Yeah.
They are the ones who know when something doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
When I'm given a character a line and they say, I don't think my character would say that. And then I go, what do you mean it doesn't say it? It's right there in the script.
Yeah.
But if I
Yeah.
have any sense, I listen to the actor
So
or
yeah, I think they're
and the director.
and the director, of course. So
Yes.
I mean, the actors are invested more than certainly more than audience members, just because they've spent so much time with the
Yeah,
script
right.
and reading the lines. Even though this is a staged reading, we have already read this script,
Yes.
10 times anyway. We're going to do it four more times in the next few days.
Well,
Um,
even for the last time that I came to the reading, which was early in the process, already people were developing characters. That's when you have a great group of actors, you're seeing it brought to life.
sure.
And it's not people sitting, I think if people have the conception, oh, a staged reading, it means they're sitting behind um, music
Microphone stands.
stands.
Yeah. Sure.
They're not. It's fully staged. Doug has done a wonderful job of directing. It's got a real set. I can't wait to see the dancing duck.
I've seen a picture of it. Andra Krishnik has painted a sign um, for the tavern, and it's a picture of a dancing duck that Jeannie found, and then the words "dancing duck." It's pretty clever. She did a nice job. So Vic, what this was a nice toe dip for you in terms of being a staged reading. What's that experience been like for you?
Well, the staged reading makes it easier in some regards because you don't have to memorize lines. But then as I'm getting into it, you realize if you do know those lines, I feel like you are able to embody them more. So, but I like the lack of a little bit less pressure on it. But I'm just loving this as far as the process of how a play gets made. And on my day job, I'm a video producer and editor, so I do a lot of timing and storytelling. And then just the theater scene here is just amazing. I've been swept up over the last couple of years, so it's really, really great to be part of one in development now. And
Yeah.
it feels like it's really close. I mean, I think it's great. And also understanding how to work with other actors. And once you can get the lines down, then and your direction was very well. Who are you talking to? Especially if it's a longer bit of a little dialogue there. So it's been great seeing the character kind of take shape in my own mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I've noticed that we're less than a week away from production at the time of this recording, and um, I am noticing, just at our last rehearsal, the characters are really, really coming out.
Mm.
People are, the lines are not memorized, but you're not having to read them either. You're glancing, and that does make a difference. And I would say for my goal, in terms of the stage reading component, is that pretty quickly into the story, people forget you're holding scripts, and that will be, a testament to Jeannie's writing and all of your portrayal of your characters and your delivery of your lines. So that's the goal. Speaking of goals, and the dates for this are February 7th through 16th, and it's a Friday, Saturday night at 7 o'clock show, and then a Sunday matinee for all those not interested in driving in the dark, and the Sunday matinees are 2 p.m. So there's only 6 shows. So if you're interested in getting tickets, you can go to the Valley Players website and www.valleyplayers.com. It's really hard to remember. Um, and tickets are easy to purchase online through Dominic Spillane, who's another local. He developed a website for locals to sell tickets online. So we're a community theater. We try to get here. We've got our community playwright. All our actors are community. We got a couple from Montpelier, Waterbury, Fayston, Waitsfield. Where else where are people from? Did I miss anyone?
I think someone's from Williamstown.
Oh, yes, you're right. Gentleman Hunter is from Williamstown. He teaches at CrossFit Brook, and this is his first time ever on stage. So, we've got experienced actors. Stephanie talked about being professional at one point, to brand new folks, and that's what community theater is all about. Any final words from any of you that you would like to impart with our television audience? Come to the show.
Absolutely. And I think people will be surprised at how much connection there is to a historical fiction play and today. I think there's a lot of crossover that people will be like, oh, that's the feelings and the experiences are now, even though it's in the past.
Well, and Jeannie, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's somewhat intentional.
It became more intentional as it went along. It started out as a very personal project,
Mhm.
in that it is somewhat based upon how my parents met. So I were the some of the facts in this play have contributed to my even being here in the world. But um, but it is, I think, Stephanie, I want to tell you how much I loved. Brett showed me what you had put, I think, on Facebook, and that made me so proud. I thought, oh, but it is. I mean, I think that in 1939, America was in a place where it was under siege in many ways, both in not just from the outside. America itself was divided, and these are hard times.
Mhm.
And Stephanie is playing a plucky young girl reporter
Yes, she
and
is.
doing a fabulous job of it.
And I will say, even the conversation that we've just had, maybe makes the play seem like a bit of a downer, but I will say that there's plenty of humor woven in. The characters are very relatable, um,
And there's a sea serpent.
and there's a sea serpent. I mean, some people are going to hate Vic. I mean, his character.
But they're not going to know why.
No, they're not going to know why, and maybe they're wrong. It's possible. But people will form opinions about these characters. I would say everyone is relatable in some way or another. Um, so our the owner of the bar is just pretty laid back. I love the line where it's actually your line, Vic, where you say, "Ah, yes, you can deliver it yourself," but something about he's shy, and
Oh,
that's why he opened a radio station. Yeah,
yeah,
I love that line.
yeah, that's a good one.
So there's some real, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to the words. I mean, the whole thing takes place in a bar. And so there's not a heck of a lot of movement. It's not an action-packed play. It's about the relationships and the dialogue.
Hmm.
So I hope we've convinced you to come.
Please do.
Okay.
We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, thank you all for joining me. And I'd like to say to the viewers out there, thanks for tuning in to Theater Time with Doug Bergstein, and we will see you next time.